Welcome to the third episode of IAC podcast. I am Hafsatu Shinkafi, and today I'm joined by Mr. Indueke and Mr. Demola Adeko.
Thank you.
So, on this podcast, we're going to be discussing the major political events that have happened recently in our dear country, Nigeria. I'm saying that in this way because on Independence Day on Twitter there was this trending topic about people wishing Nigeria independence and being patriotic about the day and celebrating the day basically. So some were offended by it, some Nigerians were offended and they kept bashing everybody that was celebrating the day. So that's why I said I emphasize on the dear country because left to me, let's not take things too far.
Our country, Nigeria, is very dear to all of us. No matter our feelings, no matter our disappointments.
No matter our disappointments. This is the only country we have, so yeah.
So definitely, we have no choice than to.
No choice. I mean,
as our dear country, irrespective of whatever it is we're going through.
Yeah.
And in any case, nobody should play a holier than thou attitude. We have all played some part or the other in causing the problems in the country.
That is it. We all have to take responsibility for it.
Exactly.
Right?
The better we become more conscious of the fact that we should do things positive, let's all do so. After getting angry, get to work.
That's it. So there have been so many things happening politically in the past few weeks. One of them is the emergence of presidential candidates in all the parties. I think the most interesting one, or rather not the most interesting one, the most talked about one is the PDP presidential candidate, amongst others. So I wanted to ask you, did you see it coming? Did you see him emerging, Abubakar Atiku emerging as the presidential candidate for PDP?
Well, for me, actually, I thought he had very strong contenders. He had Bukola Saraki, and he had Rabi Kwakwa. So Aminu was in Tambuwal. Yeah, of course, it was long coming because in 2014, Atiku Abubakar ran against President Muhammadu Buhari at the APC primaries. I remember in Lagos Park, which he lost. And of course, looking at the man, he's quite ambitious, and that is quite evident in all his political plays for a period
Very
of time
active.
now. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. He
very
has always been in the political sphere. He's not that man who waits for 4 years before he comes out and all that. He's always there all through. So it was obvious that he was definitely going to run. But however, we look at the All Progressive Congress, the APC, had President Muhammadu Buhari as the current or incumbent president, and of course, it would only make sense for them to return him because I think the alliance of President Muhammadu Buhari and the APC was what brought about the victory in 2015. So of course, I'm pretty much sure that they were not going to change the winning formula, and of course, there was no other platform that Atiku Abubakar would have run on except for the PDP. So of course it was quite glaring that he was going to return
emerge
to
as-
PDP. Yeah.
Well, I saw him coming.
You saw him
Yeah.
winning the primaries.
Yes. Without arrogating any prophetic powers to myself, I saw him coming, and to me, remember, he was the first to leave APC,
That's true.
And to come
Last
back.
year, I think
and that gives you an idea of how prepared he was and started his work. I mean, I'm looking at those who left APC to come back to PDP. And then of those who remained in PDP, none of them had a kind of significance, political significance that he has.
Yeah, true.
And like some of us already know, he has a staying power and he's been around for a very long time. This same man also competed or contested against MK Abiola.
Yeah. Way back. So he's
Yes,
been
he
around.
tried being governor too in old Gongola State. So he's been around, and I think he knows. He's clear-headed as to his political goals and all that. So me, I thought he was the strongest contender in PDP.
True.
And the feelers I got from the media was also clear that PDP needed him to remain intact.
Exactly.
And I think they got it right.
But I asked because there were so many rumors going around that the governor of Rivers State was supporting a particular candidate and he was going to emerge and...
Well, he wasn't the owner, he wasn't the chief executive of PDP or the founder
But
of PDP.
How that goes, the arrangement that takes place when you
Yes.
sit down and say, this is your candidate, especially with another rumor going on. I mean, I don't know.
There were no confirmations that all other governors were with him.
No confirmation.
There were no confirmations that Tambuwal was the candidate for all the governors.
Yeah.
But what was strong in the rumor media was that Wike was in support of Tambuwal.
Yeah.
Now, maybe that also made some impact because he came second.
He came second.
Yes, he came second. But
must have been true, that rumor.
I wasn't thinking that he was going to make it. He came second. So it's possible that he had enjoyed that kind of support and all of that. But if you are looking at somebody who can match the President Buhari,
Currently,
yes,
yes,
none among them
Would have
matches
I
Atiku.
I think PDP
Made the right choice.
best decisions
Yes.
ever, because the truth is, I'm pretty much sure that even in the camp of the APC,
Mm.
they were hoping to get
A different person.
a different
A different
person,
person,
of
I
course,
know.
which would have been a walkover for them. So right now, in fact, recent events or recent happenings shows that Atiku Abubakar is actually a real threat for the APC at this present.
He's a formidable,
I agree.
I won't use word threat. I think he's a formidable candidate for all that he is, for all that he commands, for all the resources around him, and for all his connections and network across the country.
Yeah.
So anybody competing with him should regard him
should
as a
relax.
formidable candidate.
Exactly. Let's even pull out the issue of money.
Yes.
I think that for anybody who has been following Nigerian politics for a while, you will know that if PDP was really ready to put their power where
Put up a strong fight.
and put up a strong fight against this the incumbent government, then
It can be
that's
another
like the
person
best.
than,
That's like the
Atiku
best
Abubakar.
bet.
So on.
That's like the best bet. So even if let's assume that the aspirants were all broke, nobody had money, it would only make sense for PDP to have Atiku as its flag bearer.
I'm sure you've heard about the envelopes that were shared, the amount of, the amount
Now-
that was given to
Now
delegates.
we need to grow up.
Yeah.
Even in developed economies, money and resources play a role.
A huge role.
Yes, and I think more of our own is an attempt to scandalize a particular candidate.
Yeah.
It's more of an attempt to scandalize a particular candidate, and most of the things that are that are out in the media actually cannot be substantiated. When you read through some of them, and if you like, as a former news editor, what I see is more of packaging, more of an attempt to paint somebody black, not
No
reality.
real journalism,
Yeah?
No real reporting.
No, yes, no
journalism.
reporting.
More or less like
Yes,
a smear
no reporting, and I doubt that
Much
they will
thinking
bring the
from
money.
every
They will
side.
bring the money on the convention ground and begin to share.
Of course, most of these
So these things have been done since and all of that. Because
I mean-
before you become a delegate, some things have been agreed.
Exactly. So it's not on that day that
Yes.
somebody will bring
Yeah,
bags of money.
It's a sectional media that is especially in the social media that have been shouting dollars were this, dollars were that. I have always asked them, how much did you get? Would you know anybody who got some more? Yes.
Yeah.
How
But
much
they
did you
do
get?
get something.
Yes, but it's not
Maybe
the
not
way
as,
it's being portrayed. Now, if people are not for you, no matter what you give them, you can't get them.
Of course.
Money, influence of money to some extent is tangential.
That's true.
you already have some people supporting you, and you need some extra that can support you to give you a winning number. Then you now go about doing the money.
Exactly.
Now you can't start giving money to every voter. It wouldn't happen.
It won't happen, and you
Yes.
can't just appear and start sharing money
No.
without having some kind
Exactly.
of
So
weight.
the real issue is that we should begin to think about it as a people. Our system should begin to think and respond to it. What else can be done? I know in some climes you have a ceiling of an amount you can spend and all of that.
Yeah.
What transparencies do we have in terms of expenditures we make for electioneering?
Yeah.
How does the money pass and all of that? Is there any way it can be traced and all of that? We'll begin to have a much more organized system, a system that is able to throw up these abnormalities. Then we will get there. But when we begin to pigeonhole and blackmail and label sub-candidates, it doesn't solve our problem.
At all.
Have there been any reports on VPs, the VPs for these candidates? I mean, we know of the current administration, they're probably going to go on together, right?
They haven't said anything in that direction.
They haven't said anything.
There's no affirmation.
And that's a little bit suspicious that it has not been
ratified.
Exactly, because I felt that immediately it was confirmed that President Buhari is going to be running for his second term, and of course, as stipulated by the primaries, I expect that immediately
it should be announced.
So
show that
it shows that there's still some things going on.
Exactly.
So it basically means that we are not sure of what to think yet. Just the same way we are not sure of what to think about the PDP presidential aspirant. We don't know who is going to pick up. I had rumors of Peter Obi and
I think that PDP will be smarter to go to Southwest and pick a vice presidential candidate.
So
they should be smarter to do so. Leave Southeast to contest for 2023 for presidency.
Okay.
Perhaps allow them to become Senate president. I'm doing my own permutation. Yeah. All right. Now, if they go to Southwest, they'll create a bit of a dilemma in the minds of the voters in the Southwest.
Yes.
And if one can guess, I will ask them to try and see how they can convince the president of African Development Bank, Dr. Adesina. If Adesina comes, if Adesina comes or agrees to work with Atiku,
now, I know he's a credible person, but does he have any political weight and clout to?
If he didn't have any political interest, no. What you are going for now is what I consider in influence quotient. In influence political quotient, you need a politician like Atiku. Then you need a technocrat that will do the work.
Yeah. Right.
And then in that sense, this man has been minister and performed well. No, this one performed well as a minister.
Okay.
And he's on a high pedestal in African level of finance and economics.
Yeah.
So bring him to come and give a kind of a fallback to Atiku, and then you have a powerful team.
Yeah, true.
If that happens.
I agree, although some would argue that Atiku is also a technocrat in his own right.
Yes, but not to the depth. Not to the depth of Adesina, not to the depth of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, not to the depth of some other or those other ones. No president is expected to know everything.
Of course.
No president is expected to do everything. Leadership is you being able to put together a team that will do the work and complement whatever you do.
Exactly.
And then if you have the sense enough to encourage those people to exert themselves, you have led them, you have shown leadership.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So what about the other candidates and other parties?
I'm also actually very happy that somehow it looks like finally the monopoly of PDP and APC is finally being broken. Now I think the stage is set for anybody who aspires to. In as much as I also agree that a lot of work needs to be done going forward, but I believe that with this our democracy, this is 2019 is next year. By 2023, we'll also have people who would aspire, and of course they would learn their lessons from 2019. Of course, I mean you can tell now who can win and who will not win in 2019. But going forward to 2023 and beyond. I think some of these people would realize some of their mistakes, because for me, if you ask me, I would say that we have, apart from the current president and then the main opposition, I think those other mushroom political parties, as people call them, have very, very brilliant minds who are aspiring to be president. So what I would ordinarily think they would do is to all converge, right? And have this alliance and put forward one person who would be able
at
to
a time. Nigeria is not about to disappear.
Exactly.
This person
where exactly are we rushing
can
to?
take another turn.
Exactly.
That's what I hope for, because there are so many political parties, as you said, some of
Too
them
many.
are very credible with brilliant members.
Very, very
and
brilliant minds.
candidates. So they need to just
The number of our political parties are not right.
unite.
They are not right for our evolution. They receive subvention from INEC and other. Maybe that is the attraction some of them are having.
Yeah, that's also.
I think we should be narrowing down to like 5 parties and begin to build.
All right. So the inter-party politics in APC. So much is happening in the party, and some people blame it on different things. I mean, people blame it on different things, but I hear a lot about the new chairman they have. People tend to put a lot of things on his head. Yeah, put a lot of things on him, saying they should have waited for a little bit till they ousted the former one and such things. So, but I think it goes beyond him. It's just maybe the
If you ask me, I would say that if we look at the APC structure itself before it came into power in 2015, I think the alliance was formed in 2013, just about 2 years to the general elections, and basically it was more of different strangers coming together with just one motive, which was to kick out the government of the day at the end 2015. And of course, when it seemed the alliance worked, and of course they were able to kick out and they were handed power, we can see basically what they have done so far with the party. It has always been inner fightings here and there and everything, and I think from day one, exactly, from day one. So the former chairman, John Oyegun, I think the problem I have with him at that point in time was, look, I believe that, look, if you are chairman of a political party, you have different people with different personal interests and everything, and it boils down to you to be able to manage these strange bedfellows, because the truth is, for you to have a political party that had somebody like Gino Milaye, who came from PDP to APC, you have Saraki, you have so many other people like that who ordinarily are not friends, but of course because of their political alliance at that point in time, it boils down to you to be able to manage them properly. And I think the crack basically was widened by John Oyegun's decision to take sides when there was a faction, which I think was not a very good thing. Now going forward, APC felt they lacked discipline, so they needed this hammer, they needed this tough guy, they needed somebody who would just like make an order and then it happens like that. So they saw that in Oshomole, given his antecedents as NLC president, then becoming the governor of Edo State, and of course during the Jonathan regime he was one of the loudest voices, especially against Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala and the rest. So somehow they felt they needed a strong person who would instill discipline. But if you look at it, politicians are not children. They are not kindergarten children that you will come and say, hey, sit down there, and they will sit down. These guys are actually the ones who formed the party. I mean, if you take out the politicians, there's nothing left in the political party. So they all have stakes. So you can't wake up one morning and say, because you are the chairman of the party, you hammer this person, you hammer that person, and you're not even trying to look for a way to reconcile people and everything. Most definitely, you would definitely widen the crisis. So from Oyegun to Oshomole, it seems like they just went from frying pan to fire, basically.
Will they unravel completely, or they will be?
No, they will not unravel. Why they will not unravel is that they still have their hand on the resources.
On the resources, yes.
They are still sharing.
They're still in power.
So they're still in power. That's what I mean. So they will not unravel.
That might be the only thing that will keep them together.
They may lose places. This election, some places ordinarily they would have won.
Yeah.
They may get harder competition in some places. They would have been easy for them to walk through and all of that.
But
and
as long as they have
yes, but since they still have this power till May 2019, some people will still remain.
Yeah, I just wonder what kind of tactics and strategies do you think they will take up to fix all these things happening?
It's the possibility of them resolving all of this before the election is there. But the issue is that Nigerian politicians are too smart and they can take advantage of anybody. They did that to the former president and they can do it again. I think one other person they had a difficult dealing with was President Obasanjo.
Yeah, of course. He knows how to knows how to begin, he knows how to end.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
he's always a step ahead of you.
Yeah, and at that time too, I would say that I don't think they have matured to the level they are at now. The Nigerian politicians, they've always been Nigerian politicians anyway, with that distinct quality and those skills they have. But what I'm trying to say is that now the behavior is different from that time. Probably if Obasanjo was in power now, he would also get the same treatment.
If Obasanjo were to be in power, maybe he would have also grown with them.
Of course,
And
because it's not going to...
Now, you see, there are differences in personalities. The key things, I'm trying as much as possible not to sound a little bit too critical of dignitaries. Now, is that a leader must be a learning person, must have a large heart, learning person, and reasonably flexible. Not flexible to commit crime or to aid crime, but flexible to see how you can get people together to work in the same direction. That's leadership.
Wow. What about Lagos State? Lagos was hot as well.
Yes. Lagos situation is not unusual in a sense because it played some few years back when Governor Fashola was there. But they had a way of resolving it. I thought they were going to do the same resolution this time, but it didn't work.
Well, I think one of the things that actually worked against Governor Akinwumi Ambode was that he lost the party structure. Then worse still, he lost the people of Lagos, which was one of his biggest mistakes. In this particular situation with Governor Ambode did not have the backing of the people. He made so many mistakes, and part of the mistakes he made was the increment of the toll in Lekki and Ikoyi. Then he also had this housing tax and the land use charge and that.
Tax.
Yeah.
Then one of his greatest mistakes actually was the way they handled waste management in Lagos. It was supposed to be a smooth transition from Loma to Visionscape, which was, of course, a reputable company in terms of waste management, but it was not properly managed. So there was this break in transmission, which actually made Lagos dirtier, because at the point where Loma was taking off the streets and Visionscape was taking over waste management, there was this period of silence.
Transition.
And you know that Lagos State is a well-populated state where people generate tons and tons of waste on a daily basis. So exactly, you skip a day and the whole place is messed up. So that was one of his major mistakes. And then pulling Loma is more or less like somebody standing on a rug, and you pull the rug right under the person's feet, because a couple of people lost their jobs in the Loma. So of course it goes down to, and this, like I said earlier, these people were like the lowest cadre in the terms of the economy, and these are the people who actually do the voting. So once you want to lose an election, right, lose the carpenters, the market women, the teachers, and those other. Once you lose them, you lose your election.
We should be worrying about who is coming in.
Yeah, I think that should be at the focus right now.
Yeah, so
I have always given Lagos as an example of successful transitions.
Yeah, true.
If you notice, from Tinubu to Ambode, there have been some additions in terms of infrastructure and improvement in governance and all of that. Yeah. I look at them as the best example in the country.
Yes, in terms of transition.
Now, what I worry is who is taking over from Ambode. That's assuming that they will win the next election. We should be worried about equality. I wouldn't mind APC winning again, for the fact that they have managed to sustain governance, improvement in governance since 1999 till now. So if they get the right person and the person comes and adds up and does better than Ambode and Rosen, that will be it. But if we have something that makes people begin to think that Ambode should have been allowed to go, then that will be political catastrophe.
Yeah, of course. And I think one thing he can always talk about is the improvement, the development, and
his
he can always say
is better. His politics is better than most people's own.
So even if we take politics off the table, when we talk in terms of governance, so far he can come out and beat his chest and say, "Look, after me, I've given Lagos this product."
His politics is not the best in terms of if you begin to get down deeply to look at indices and all of that of what happens in Lagos, but it's still far better than what has happened all over the country.
Of course.
The only place coming close is Anambra.
Yeah, I heard
Anambra State from Peter Obi.
You've had good successions.
Yes, from Peter Obi to the present governor there. We seem to be having it good.
Willie
Obiano is adding to what Peter Obi did.
Yeah.
And if he continues that way, that should be a model in Igbo land.
We've come to the end of our podcast. We've had a very interesting discussion so far, and I would like to thank my panel for joining me. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.